as the plinky-plonky sounds of Future Librarian by the Moths fades away, I welcome you to another episode of Future Library, which took its name from that track. That's me being professional at the beginning of that, because obviously I've never done that before. That's actually quite a slick beginning, I'm sure the listener will agree. Usually my beginnings are fairly rambling. I often forget the name of the podcast, isn't that true, Kat?
Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, it is Future Library, which I've remembered. It's been a couple of weeks since the last one, but that's all right, I think. I can live with that. And obviously there's myself, Alex Botton, doing the talking. There's Kat sitting on the sofa next to me.
Hello.
She waves at the audio quite often on podcasts. Now she's giving me the finger. And the guests today are Norah Lorway. Have I pronounced that right, Norah?
Yep.
And Shaun Blezard. Have I pronounced that right, Shaun?
You have, yes.
Excellent. Wouldn't that have been better if your name had been like Stephen Smith or something?
That's Smythe.
Yeah, have I pronounced Stephen Smith right? Norah and Shaun are musicians from different parts of the world. Norah is in Birmingham via Canada, and Shaun is in the Lake District. And I was trying to think today when I was walking around the shops thinking about the podcast this evening. I was trying to actually work out how I knew you guys. And I think, Shaun, I kind of know you through Ian Simpson. Was that right?
That's right, I think, yeah. Warrington Festival.
Yes.
Sort of, and then Radio Black Forest, possibly.
Yeah.
So
was it the Radio Black Forest, the one where I first actually properly spoke to you?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. I can never remember these things. I used to be very good at remembering stuff like that, and I'm getting less good at
The
it.
first occasion you stopped looking coyly at him from across the room.
Yeah, that was it. The first time ever I saw his face.
Oh, I remember it well.
Yeah, my heart skipped a beat that day, sure.
Yeah, I was just wanting to get to Cat.
Oh. What happened then?
Oh, hello.
Hello. You self-edited there, Shaun.
Did I?
Yeah. What happened then?
Honestly,
Did you unplug yourself?
I touched the connector accidentally.
Never
Being the
touched
slick professional type that I am.
So, yeah, you were saying something about seeing my face across a crowded room and how great I was. And obviously, we don't need to go back over that because, everybody knows I'm great. And that's what you were meaning to say.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Absolutely. And Norah, I know through Birmingham, the Birmingham Improvising Laptop Ensemble.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
And though I'm not quite sure what's happened to Bile.
I don't know either. Yeah, I think we disbanded, and I think a few of them are still doing it. So, yeah.
I played a show with Bile in Wolverhampton. With, I think Ian Simpson was on the bill actually that night as well.
Yeah.
And there were more people performing than actually turned up to watch the music, which is often the way. And when everybody was performing, it was a bit like being in an Apple showroom.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's
It was MacBooks everywhere as far as the eye could see.
The funny thing is, the connecting thread between the two shows was I had fudge.
That's right. Yeah,
both of them. Yeah.
that might have been one of the best parts of the gig, actually.
Yeah. So Norah, you were doing Bile, which was the
Birmingham Laptop Ensemble.
Yes. And I'm getting a little bit of echo from somebody. Have both of you got headphones on?
Yes.
Yes.
You have. Okay, so it's just Skype being very strange. I'm sure we'll live through it. So yeah, you were part of the Birmingham Improvising Laptop Ensemble, which is very hard to. How would you describe it to listeners who hadn't heard it?
It's a good question. I'd say a lot of noise, really. Maybe with different laptops played and kitchen utensils, because I think we did a few pieces where we had pots and pans clattering and recording them. So it was pretty random stuff, really.
And it was it was all networked, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, it's all networked.
There was a lot of rude jokes and sly looks between.
This is what we were told. Yeah.
There's a lot of that happening too.
Antonio, who was the video dude for the only guy who didn't use a Mac. Involved in Bile. He told us at that show all about all the messages that go back and forth
Yes.
And we could see them all going in. Everybody would sit and look very studiously at their computers. But
Yeah.
It did look like a study group.
It did look a bit like the maths group was sitting around.
I did, yeah, and actually after a while, I joined another group called BEER, which is the Birmingham Ensemble for Electroacoustic Research, and it was started by my supervisor who wanted to start BIAL, but it was a big, long story, and he never got around to doing it, so I ended up joining that while I was still in BIAL, and it's a live coding group, so it's even more geeky probably than BIAL, I guess, because we're live programming.
And making the noises from the live programming.
Yeah, but except with this, you actually have the code projected on the screen, whereas BIAL, no one knew what we were actually doing, so it's sort of like, yeah, but anyway, same thing, really.
In fact, they were all just playing MP3s through their computers while playing Tetris.
That is
possible, yeah.
Checking your emails.
Checking email. Well, I couldn't do that. Yeah.
That's the classic move, is the laptop show is you play an MP3 and then you play Quake while you're doing it, or you sit just looking at the web, looking at pictures of cats or something, or reading cracked articles or something like that. And occasionally you look up and nod.
Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've told people before that I've actually had people come up to me while I've been performing and ask me what I'm doing or if I can turn it down or things like that, which is the downside of performing with electronics, I think. Is
People don't think you're actually performing anything.
No, if you're not holding a guitar, people seem to think you're not a musician.
See, what you need to do, though, is start a laptop show in which you just play an MP3 and then hold the guitar and wait for them to come ask you to turn it down.
Yeah, I could do, couldn't I? Maybe I should go and start turning down amps and rock gigs.
You should do.
Go, ooh, just turn it down a bit, mate. It's a bit loud. So BIAL kind of fell apart, I understand.
Yeah, apparently it's still going.
Did it reform without you, Norah?
Well, I mean, they're always trying to get the previous members to come back and join, but I think just sort of like it's become something else, and we're all sort of busy and whatnot. So.
Certainly what you do solo seems to be a lot more melodic.
Yeah, sure. No, I think, I mean, lately it's been more beat-driven, but, I think I did a lot of ambient stuff, which BIAL wasn't really doing anyway, so, But we all had different musical tastes, I guess, so it just sort of didn't... Sometimes it blended well, sometimes it didn't, I guess. So.
Yeah, it did seem a little bit when I was watching the little kind of stream of messages on Antonio's computer that it did seem occasionally it was a stream of abuse.
Sure.
Yeah. It's almost a bit like, it reminded me a bit of The Police with, is it Andy Summers with his, which was the drummer in Copeland? Was it? You'll know this, Shaun.
It was indeed, yeah, Copeland.
Yeah, and didn't he have, like, I Hate Sting written on his drums or something?
I don't know about that, but he should do, yeah.
I know they famously hated each other, or he famously hated Sting, and had something like I Hate Sting written on his toms, so that he'd hit them hard.
I might try that with my computer.
You might write I hate... I see you've got a keyboard on your computer and it can say any words you like.
Well, just I Hate Sting would be enough for me, really.
Would you move the keys round so that the keyboard read I Hate Sting?
Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
I think
it could be the way forward.
Yeah.
Unless you took it on Hunt and Peck.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any keys that would be repeated with that. I hate Sting. Oh no, there's the I, yeah. That's right. Yeah, you couldn't do it.
Just hate Sting.
Yeah, you could, or you could use the number 1. For I hate Sting. So, Shaun, you're also a musician, also performing with electronics and various other things. Tell us a bit about your background.
I come from the ambient dance scene originally. I've got more into experimentally stuff over the last 12 years or so since I've been doing it. And I do pretty much all improvised stuff now. Either improvised ambient stuff as Clutter, solo thing, and also playing various sort of free jazz ensembles. Currently one called Kipple, which is based in Sheffield. That's also got Ian Simpson in. He gets around, that one. So lots of improvising, and I still owe Norah an album for her label. I am so sorry. It will come very, very soon, I promise. It's because it means so much to me. I really want it to be good.
That's fine, don't worry.
So, yeah, that's about me, I think.
So did you come up through the playing in guitar bands thing, or?
I did, yeah. I started in 1986 in a C86 shambling pop band, and I played bass in various sort of country, rock, skiffle, Cayley, all sorts of things.
I was 5.
You were 5 when you started.
I was 5.
There you go. That's
I wasn't much older than that. I was only 19, I think.
Yeah. I don't think how old I was in 1988. I was.
Oh, Grandpa Shaun.
Indeed, yes.
I'm not sure.
You were born in 72.
I was born in 72, so I'd have been 16.
Oh,
I was 3.
You were 3, Nora.
I was 3. Yeah.
So I'm the oldest.
You are, very much so. So, I mean, the reason I stopped playing guitar bands was I got fed up with rehearsing and writing actual songs. Was it a similar thing for yourself, Shaun?
Pretty much. Rehearsing and just getting sick of the politics of being in bands.
Yeah.
Sort of, and everyone wanting to be famous, etc. When ultimately it's about just making sounds you like, really, and getting out there and having fun.
That's it, exactly. I kind of think that, when you look at younger bands, and I could have got into a couple of arguments with some Birmingham bands on Twitter the other night. I was a bad person. I was looking through Brum Notes magazine, which always makes me very depressed. It's so terrible. And I was reading about all these awful, boring guitar bands, and they're all playing the same boring guitar band venues that were being played by boring guitar bands 20 years ago in Birmingham. And they're all saying exactly the same things in interviews. So I went on, and one of them was called Sugar. And I remember a more famous band called Sugar.
Bob Mould.
Absolutely, Bob Mould's band. So I could have just commented to them on Twitter that there's another band called Sugar that was quite famous and on Creation Records, and they got quite abusive back. So I got into a bit of a kind of argument with them and their little friends. But yeah, where was I going with this story? Where did I start with this story?
Hated guitar bands.
Yeah, hated guitar bands. Yeah, what does? Yeah, so they were all kind of. Yeah, this was the thing. They were all kind of making out as if success was to become really famous. And part of me felt like a bit of an old fart because I was looking at these kind of guys who kind of like were teenagers, early 20-somethings, and thinking, you know what, they think of success as being making loads of money and touring the world and stuff. But
they were born the wrong decade for that, then.
yeah, absolutely.
The music scene is not about that anymore.
No, and the way I see success now is the fact that I'm still doing it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I imagine what it's like at my age when you're still doing it.
Well, that's it. And I'm willing to bet all the people who were super careerist in your local music scene when you were much younger have stopped doing it altogether.
Most of them had. The even sadder ones are still doing it, but still have what I call local band syndrome, which is they never play out of town. They just sit around getting drunk or whatever, just play the same local venues and think EMI is just going to knock on their door. Sort of, and it's like, well, they're not going to, especially up here. You might have half a chance in Birmingham, but
No. Birmingham's horrible for music.
We've got half of no chance.
yeah.
No one. The thing is, the transit system's so shit that no one will come to a gig.
I did hear that. Is it the buses stopped running it really early or something?
Like 11.
Yeah.
So no one stays out for shows, and most of the people who bothered to come to gigs are coming from out of town. So no one in Birmingham actually comes to the music. It's pretty bad.
Oh, it's shocking.
Have you experienced that, Nora?
Well, I just don't bother going to anything. Basically, like, I just noticed there's no one who goes to anything, and just like, I don't know the band names anyway, so it's sort of like I've just given up bothering. Yeah. So
it's really depressing. I find it because for the fact that it's the second city, it should have a lot more going. And the thing is, Shaun, I look up at what's going on up north, and you guys have actually got far more going on than we have in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but I guess, there's nothing to do up here. It's a bit like, Seattle in America, backwater, so everyone just gets on with it.
I wouldn't call Seattle a backwater, exactly.
No, But
Just because we have a couple of trees does make a backwater.
It's hardly Barrow, though, is it?
No. That's true. I mean, Ulverston, yeah, I mean, you've got the big bright lights of Barrow and Furness.
Oh, yes.
Down the
That's all
road.
we need.
Yeah. But then Liverpool seems to have a lot more going on as well. But I suppose Liverpool's kind of more of a... It's defines itself as a music town.
There are people willing to pay £7 on the door to go to an experimental music gig.
Yeah.
You couldn't pay people £7 to come to an experimental gig in Birmingham most of the time.
It's very difficult to get people in Birmingham to shows. And the problem is as well, you'll get venues that kind of initially start out with all the best will in the world and kind of saying, oh yeah, we'll support that kind of music. And then when you don't pull people through the door...
No punters.
Yeah, they start going, maybe we won't in future.
Well, the thing is, they learned the same thing that you did. The reason why you got out of guitar bands is you hate audiences.
Yes! That's so true.
Finally, it all makes sense.
That's it, yeah. I hate the audience. If I could just bring it down to just myself and no one else in a room. And
You've done that a few times.
I have done that a few times.
Yeah, that's called playing in Warrington, I think.
That was still a better turnout than I've had at some Birmingham shows.
What was it, the Sunflower Lounge?
The Sunflower Lounge in Birmingham. Played a gig with Mutate and this guy called Repetitive Strain Injury or something like that.
I don't know.
And he was a bit boring.
He was Captain Can't Promote. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't. He booked the Sunflower Lounge, and then the only people who were there were me, Aid, him, Kat, and the barman.
Yep.
That was it, and he thought it was a raging success that night.
Oh.
And then kept calling you like some weird
man,
girlfriend.
he wanted to do like some... Because we did a little kind of collaborative section in the set, and he wanted to make that into like a full-time band thing and started to try and organise like regular rehearsals and things.
Yeah, rehearsals for improvised music.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not into that, and Aid eventually told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
Sent him a message saying, look mate, just fuck off. But, there you go. But yeah, it's yeah. So yeah, you see, you're quite lucky, Shaun. I've actually played to more people when I came up to Ulverston than I have in Birmingham.
Yeah, I have myself. Yeah, no, it's a good scene up here. It must be said. Lots of interesting things going on, and we've got our festival coming up in a couple of weeks.
Is that
sort of, the Full of Noises festival that the Octopus Collective put together?
I've occasionally asked them about playing. They don't reply.
Yeah, that sounds like them.
Yeah, they didn't reply, and I thought that's very familiar. That feeling, emailing people about playing shows, getting no response.
Yeah, it's a little bit impolite. I always try and.
You know what? I'm actually going to start whenever I write an email to like a promoter or some kind of festival or something asking about playing. I'm going to write it all out, and then I'm just going to hit discard, and I think that's going to do just as much good.
Well, I mean, back on the Birmingham thing, it's a big point that Arts Fest got cancelled.
Yeah.
Because Second City can't bother to actually sponsor arts.
Yeah.
And doesn't have enough interest to sponsor art.
Well, the thing is, though, Arts Fest in Birmingham, it would be really busy, most of it. I mean, it would pick up towards the afternoons, and sort of early morning and midday performances would tend to be a little bit on the empty side. But, I mean, I've played Arts Fest a couple of times. I know you've played it, Norah, haven't you?
Yeah.
And, I think the one thing that's really bad about it is that it brings a load of people into the city centre, but then they wouldn't pay any of the artists.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They seem to be of the opinion that they were doing you a huge favour.
Oh.
And I remember, what's his name? Shit, I can't remember. Pete, who's a photographer. Can you think of who I'm talking about, Norah? Pete?
Yeah, it's Pete Aston, probably.
That's it, yeah. He wrote a really good article about how artists in Birmingham should just tell the council to fuck off. He was annoyed because they'd used a photograph of his without his permission and without paying for it. And then asked for... They were doing the whole thing of, we can't pay you, but it's for exposure. The exposure will be good. Yeah.
And you basically like, fuck your exposure.
Yeah. Yeah. You're laughing. You've heard that phrase before, haven't you, Shaun?
Oh, many times, yeah. It reminds me of somebody put a thing up on Facebook about restaurant asking for that sort of thing, and the guy replied with, yeah, well, I'd like you to come and cater for my sort of family and it'd be good exposure for you.
Yeah,
So I think that's kind of summed it up for me.
Yeah.
That art in general, just people don't want to pay for it. And
Why pay for what you can get for free? I think people are starting to treat live music a lot of the ways they treat MP3s. Why pay for it when you can just get it for free?
And I think part of the problem, I think there's a little bit of responsibility lies at the door of the artist for that, because I think we're kind of letting that happen by not charging for events. But the problem is, you kind of think, well, I'd rather have people there and not paying, or nobody.
But then
there.
they learn that they can get away with not paying you.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
And, I mean, the whole exposure thing is all well and good when you're brand new. You're just out the garage going, okay, let's play a couple of gigs. But you sell yourself out the moment you go, what I do isn't worth your money. So
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are plenty of people who go, I won't play unless you give me £200. And half the time those people get the £200 because they go, well, they must be good if they're charging.
Yeah, well, I mean, a good example of that is my friend Joe Howe, who's up in Glasgow. He was in a band called Gay Against You. And him and Lachlan from the band would always charge between £100 and £200 per performance, wherever they played. And that was part of the thing. If a promoter came to them and said, we'd like you to come and play, they'd say, well, this is how much it costs. And because they would then get that money, and it would be a guarantee, the promoter would then actually work to promote the show. So
they need to recoup the cost of paying Lachlan.
I think...
I'm sorry.
Go on, what were you going to say, Norah?
No, it's fine. I was just thinking. So I'm just sort of like thinking that I can't actually accept money in the UK because of my student visa. So I don't care about doing gigs for free, but that's just because I'm so used to it. Also, because I've been in academia for like the last 10 years too. It's like not expected of you to make money. So whenever I've gotten paid, it's been like, what? Really? That's weird. But so it's like I'm coming from this other point of view where it's like I just don't know how to accept the money because either I can't or I'm not used to it, or it's weird to me. So this whole concept's like, oh, I guess you should get paid for playing.
Yeah, no, I think the situation where where you're in a position where you legally can't be paid for it, I think that's okay.
Totally.
I don't think there's ever a problem with that, because ultimately we're doing it because we love doing it. But I think the problem is that in general, audiences have become used to not having to pay.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, they there's definitely this attitude that they can just get you for free and play for free. I know in bio one of the weird problems we had was that some of us were international students and we couldn't accept the money, but also the ones we didn't really think we were doing a band. We thought we were like a university type ensemble, which is like a little bit different. Half the group thought that they were just doing like playing in a band to accept money. So we had this weird push and pull thing. We weren't really sure how to market ourselves, if we were actually, playing at conferences and symposiums, or if we're actually playing in a pub or a bar or whatever. So I think half the group sometimes accepted the money and the other half couldn't. But it's a lot of the time we weren't paid, and we were just sort of playing for free, and that really upset a lot of people. And I could see why, because it's like people just take you for granted. Really, it's like, okay.
It's tricky, isn't it? It's tricky working in what you do. Is the work valuable in its own right, and should it be paid for? Or, like you say, do you allow yourself to be taken for granted?
Sure.
We have the option, I've just had a message pop up, we have the option of adding Goody Pal to the conversation.
The Goody Pal?
The Goody Pal, the Faroe Islands electronic music genius. Are either of you two aware of Goody Pal?
No.
You're not aware of Goody Pal?
He's special.
He's a genius, Goody Pal is. I'm going to see if he wants to come in.
I like how you're completely damning with faint praise the rest of your guests being like, yeah, screw these guys.
Oh, no, because Goody Pal's
us to go.
Should we leave you alone with your precious Goody Pal?
No, because it'd be good idea, because I was about to start talking about the process of making music, and I'll see if he wants to come in, and I'll say, hold on.
Just as a backstory, Goody Pal has this thing about wanting to make non-linear music, which sounds like it should work until you really think about it. And it's all because he talks about how sort of computer music, we need to learn how to make music that computers can't understand. But because we think in a linear way, it's impossible to not make linear music. Yeah. So it's quite odd. But he's special. What was it that he stole from the university and then... He stole something.
A very expensive sampling synthesizer thing from the Denmark Conservatory.
Wasn't it broken?
No, it wasn't broken, but he fixed it anyway.
How do you fix something that isn't broken?
He kind of improved it.
Did you do little
I did do little
fingers?
quotey fingers there, yeah. Nice. Yeah, I did do little quotey fingers. While we wait for him to make his decision whether he wants to hop in or not,
You can
Nora,
talk to your original guests.
these are the important guests on this one, and I've just told him that in the message. I've just said, we're talking to people, do you want to hop in on this one and then arrange a proper interview later on? But what I was going to say was, Nora, obviously me and Shaun have come from more instrument-based background. What was your background, or how did you end up doing what you're doing?
Well, actually, I did as well. I started doing music, I was a piano player, and I've been in the strict classical, world, I guess, probably since I was 4, but then I did a music degree in piano performance, then I did a master's in piano performance and, traditional composition, which, I did the whole 9 yards of it, and then I just kind of, in my master's, or at the end of my undergrad, I just kind of started getting into electronic music a bit, and then I got more into it in my master's, to the point where I just kind of wanted to do only that during my PhD, which is what I'm doing now. So I've never actually been out of school, which is interesting. So I come from this, the other outside world, I guess, playing gigs and things like that is always a bit foreign to me, because it's sort of it wasn't how I started doing music, I guess. So when I do it, it's sort of kind of a treat in a way, because it's not what not how I started, really. But
so you've managed to bypass the whole world of lugging amps around and...
Well, no, that's not true, though, because I was in a band all through my undergrad, so I played bass. But again, it was like a punk, post-new wave kind of group, but I didn't have to lug amps, I guess. I had people do that for me, but...
I play bass now.
Yeah, so Kat's got a bass, and I've been saying to her that...
Yeah. He's trying to make me learn how to play, because he wants to start a band called Rainbow Skull. And I don't play, I sing loudly in the shower, and or along to the radio, or whatever in my head. But I'm not a music person. And so, he's like, learn this thing, play this thing, and I'm just like...
That's what they always say.
I can bounce on the root note. I'm good enough for you too.
Yeah, well, I've been saying about about Adam Clayton for years. He just bounces along the root note, and then I've actually started listening to a bit of U2. I've put a load on my iPod.
And is it better than that?
Well, I used to be a big U2 fan when I was about 14, and then I kind of put some on my iPod, and it comes up occasionally on shuffle, and I kind of find myself thinking, actually, he's quite a good player. Damn it, he's actually doing quite inventive things there, and. I'd always imagined Adam Clayton as being Mr. Boom, 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 like that all the time. But he's not like that. So yeah,
And if anyone heard me sniggering, it's because I got a mental image of Norah playing plinky plinky piano with a bowler hat on. So if you're wondering why she starts talking about playing piano, and all I imagine her is like in an oldie timey thing playing plinky piano with a bowler hat. So yes, if you're wondering why I was chortling my balls off, that's what it was.
Have you got balls?
Got yours.
Oh. Oh. Ouch.
To be fair, you did open yourself up for that one.
I did.
Yeah, walked right into that.
I did walk into that vice. I mean, I guess, I don't know, Nora, have you had to sit through the whole sound check thing with the drummer bashing an individual drum?
No, not really, no.
You see, you are so lucky.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I did. I don't really remember those years. It was all sort of like a blur, because I was, heavily entrenched in like schoolwork and things, so just kind of happened. I mean, the last 10 years have just been literally a blur of degrees and sitting in front of a computer. And but I mean, the electronic music I do now is more, it's all live coding, I guess.
Yeah.
Would be, like when I perform, it's all writing computer programs on the fly. And I think that's, I find that more interesting than I find what I used to do electronically, which was I started doing like solo gigs doing ambient shows in Calgary.
Yeah.
In Alberta. And there was one club, I guess, or one venue that they had in the city that had any sort of like culture, in my opinion. I don't know if you're familiar with Calgary, but it's like basically Texas of the north in Canada. So it's like cowboys and, beef and so I got into sort of performing with this guy I knew, a postdoc. He was a postdoc in Calgary in physics from the UK, and he did minimal techno. He goes by his band name, or his stage name is Rearc. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he got me into doing it, and it was like kind of a brand new thing for me, and so I got hooked on playing laptop gigs, I guess. And so that was kind of the beginning of what I guess I'm doing now a bit. So yeah, but
that's good. And the thing is, I mean, from the stuff you're doing compared to what you're doing in Bile, it seems a lot more. And I know we've discussed this a little bit on Facebook, because I mean, one of the things that recently I've kind of stopped doing my solo thing, which is, I always feel kind of weird, because all the things I do are kind of solo things, but the thing I was doing under my own name, kind of under my own name, because I was using that's not making any sense at all, is it? Cat's giving me a face.
No, that's just my normal face.
Yeah, she was pulling a face at me. I think it was the Alex, you're talking gibberish kind of face. Yeah, but we were having this conversation about how I'd stopped doing it because I was kind of finding what I was doing to be kind of too austere, and it was kind of fun for a while doing stuff that was almost purely sound based and had almost no melodic or harmonic content and was just noises. But I actually found it starting to make me depressed.
It was the top of your I hate audience.
Yeah, and it was structured, but it was becoming more and more austere. And you know, when I did my last set as it, the only sound source I had was a single piece of paper. And did the whole set with that, just making noises with that and loops and things like that. And then I'd started making beats with the sounds from it, but it was, so I've gone back into more melodic-y based stuff with my things that I'm working on at the moment. And
well, the thing with sorry.
No, go on.
No, the thing with Bile, I don't actually associate it with anything I do at all. I felt like I was sort of like a backup singer anyway, and Bile was like I wasn't really. I didn't. It's hard to describe it, but it was kind of a very side project for me, and it was important at the time. But I think I didn't really. There's so many of us in the group that there wasn't really enough time for anyone to be particularly individual. We were kind of like a piece to a puzzle in a lot of ways. So I really did separate it from what I was doing completely. It had nothing to do, in a lot of ways, with me. I did get a lot of coding done. That's what I used it for software development and writing, stuff for laptop performances, because part of my PhD research when I first started here was writing like software that can be used by many different people to play in laptop ensembles. So that was really useful for me. But as an individual in the group, it was difficult because we all sort of had to piece our way together, and it was more of a puzzle. So I think I didn't always agree with how it sounded, and I think like if I had done it was all by myself doing, I would probably make it sound a lot more tonal, I guess, or melodic, whatever. But so it was kind of difficult, so I had to sort of adapt, and that's fine. I think it's good to do things you're not comfortable with. You have to sometimes, but at the same time, I couldn't see myself doing it for a long term, really. It was just sort of, But on the other hand, though, I got into doing algo raves, which is all beat-based algorithmic music. It doesn't particularly sound ambient or stuff I'm normally comfortable with doing, so that's completely different as well. But it's also a lot different from what I did in Bile, so I don't know. It's kind of
it's good. I mean, I think trying different things out is always a good thing. That sounds really pat, doesn't it? But it's because I mean, Shaun, obviously you play a whole bunch of different projects and things. Going from Clutter through the Kipple stuff through to your new project, Hugs Bison. And they're all very different kind of things you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think as a musician, you can't just be one thing. Because we all listen to so many different things. Mm-hmm. So why not let them through? So it's one of the things we have in Kipple, which is at base a free improv band, but there's quite a lot of... we're not afraid to have melody. We're not afraid to have bits of rhythm, bits of jazz come in there, bits of country. I think that's when it gets really exciting to play music, when you're not being just one thing, which is probably not a good career move. But it makes for a much more interesting life than.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's one of these things where you have to let, especially with improvising, I think you have to let the music go where it's wanting to go, rather than applying a certain set of rules to yourself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the problems I have with some of the free improv scene. It was started to get rid of rules, and it's got such a tight set of rules now. If you play like the same beat for more than 10 seconds, you're doing something wrong, or you've got to do this, that, and the other, and it's just silly.
Yeah, you've got to let things. I mean, if the beat starts and the whole thing turns into some kind of lengthy chug, that's just the way the music's gone for that time. You have to let that happen, I think.
Totally. I think if you've got to be free, be free to not be free.
Free to be constrained.
Yes.
I think you can't have free improv and have rules with it. I think that's silly.
There's a lot of bias, well, at least in like the academic music world or whatever, but a lot of bias against beats and tonality. So that's, I think myself, I was taught from like, my beginning of my first degree, it was just like you can't write tonally, you can't have melody, it has to be, atonal or whatever just to make it legit, I guess. But so now I think I have recently just having a lot of trouble just trying to convince myself that it's okay to do that sometimes, and that's kind of silly. So I think whatever happens is good. So
yeah, that's kind of strange. It's kind of, I find it's kind of sad that they're pushing a kind of anti-musical approach. That.
But once upon a time, it was nothing but, why aren't you in the classical band? Why aren't you doing this? What is this electronic music crap?
Yeah, it sounds like one set of kind of codes and rules gets replaced with another.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. So, with your experience of at college and university, what's the kind of quality of the work that's coming out of the places, would you say?
Well, it's good. I mean, it varies. I mean, I have to say, I went from two very different programs, one after the other. Well, I don't count the undergrad because that's performance, but master's, I did a lot of instrumental composition, and there was the electroacoustic music or acousmatic music, which is like the academic term for a lot of this. It was a lot more free than over here because I'm studying at Birmingham, and it's I don't know if you know much about Beast at all. Or?
All I know about that is that I can never quite work out in my head whether it's a performance group or the name of the speakers.
Yeah, it's sort of both. The Beast is a speaker, and there's over.
You've gone very Dalek-y.
Sorry.
Are you still there, Norah?
Hello?
You've gone very Dalek-y, Norah. You suddenly sound like a Dalek.
Can you still hear me, or?
Yeah.
This is a bit better.
Yeah, you come back a little bit there.
Okay, sorry. So but it's also like the speaker and the performance group. The postgraduates were the faculty. We are so we set it all up, and we have like 2 weeks of doing it, and then the rest of the week is our concerts with the speaker. These guest performers and other famous composers come in and play the music. But again, very like traditional acoustic, so I don't know much about music complex, things like that. Recorded sound, not much sound processing and stuff like that. So it's very different.
Yeah. I can still hear. The funny thing is, Norah, the bit that you were just saying actually sounded like one of those performances.
Yeah, I was going to buy that one.
Yeah, well, that part, derivatives allowed, I guess, on that section. If anybody wants to sample, actually, I might sample part of that.
I'll beat you to it.
It sounds like what it sounds like to me, Norah. It sounds a bit like your bandwidth is being squashed somewhere.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Are you on You're on a computer, aren't you?
On a computer, yeah.
Are you on a shared connection?
Not at the moment, no. I don't think so.
There's nobody kind of streaming kind of the latest episode of Doctor Who or anything?
Don't think so, no.
It's very strange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just try calling you back because you're breaking up so much that I'm not sure how I can actually hang up on you. Hold on, let me try. Okay, I'm going to try and see if I can get rid of you, and then I'll try and bring you back. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Okay, so you can still hear us, can't you, Shaun?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so let's try and bring Norah back.
And is the recording still working?
Oh, yeah, the recording's still going. So, and all this will be on the podcast. Because that's how...
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll add a contact to the... Oh, no, that's not how I do it. Oh, that's no good. Hold on. So I want to add Norah to the call.
I wonder why we can still hear the echo of ourselves.
I'm not sure what that is. I'm clicking around here, so the listeners could probably hear a click, click, click as I click around the screen. They don't make it easy to add people back into conversations in this. Okay, where is it? Oh, fuck's sake.
Don't you just dial them like you did before?
Yeah, but you kind of have to add them back in, and it's because otherwise it makes a new call, and then they disappear, and then it all turns into a big pain in the ass. Where the hell is it? Every time Microsoft updates Skype,
why don't you just start a whole new call?
Because then I'll lose the thing. Oh, okay, add. Here we go. Add people. Here we go, let's see. Okay, let's see if this works. Found it. There we go, so Nora's getting rung again. So, here we go. Let's see what happens. Is it going to work?
A name cable.
What's that?
A name's come up on the top.
Yeah, her name's showing. It's got the little kind of pulsing, ringing.
Hello?
Hello!
Hi, is that better?
Yes! Hooray!
Okay.
We fixed it. So, yeah, there was a kind of broken up Dalek sound. So, what was it you were saying when it was all...
I think I was talking about Beast, what Beast was, I think.
Yeah, what is Beast? Tell me.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'll just give you... I heard about Beast way before I'd come here, and I didn't realize that Beast was... okay, how should I put this? When I first got here, I saw Beast, and Beast was a bunch of speakers sitting underneath an art gallery. I thought it was already set up before me, so I was a bit shocked by that. So apparently Beast actually it's a group of speakers, it's also a performance group, and the postgraduates, they put the speakers together. So it's a crew. So they put it together before. It's quite the ordeal, because it takes like a very long time to pack up and then take it to the venue and then set it up, test it, etc. And then days of concerts, and the last day you take it. So it's a lot of the time we're playing our pieces. It's a kind of a research, like a research thing for us to play our stuff. So it's going to be in our portfolios. And there's also guest composers who are well known in the electroacoustic world, I guess. So, so it's a kind of multifaceted sort of thing. It's not just performance, but it's also not just putting speakers together either, I suppose. Yeah.
I could actually understand that description, even though it was breaking up again. The best part was that Goody Pal, who we mentioned earlier, has made a recording of describing how to confuse computers with non-linear music, and he's chopped it up in such a way that it sounded a little bit like that bit of description. So, yeah, we shall forge on, and hopefully your computer will stop being weird.
Okay, yeah.
Have you got anything else running in the background or anything?
No, not really. Yeah, I'd restarted it, so should be okay. I don't know.
Right, we'll forge on. So Bile is the speakers, and the computers have to set up.
Here.
Beast. Yeah, I don't know why I said Bile.
They're all B words.
Yeah,
what is it about academia and all these hard words like Bile and Beast and Mantis?
Yeah, I did this presentation at this conference last year in London, and I was telling them I'm part of Beast, Bile, and Beer. All those very masculine names. I don't know if maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of like gross names.
Yeah, I guess it's because there's the Birmingham thing, isn't there? There's the
yeah, it just makes sense.
So I think they should rename things like Punch and Cudgel.
Aren't those the same names you suggested for children of co-workers?
Yeah, I always suggest those names for kids.
Laser, Punch,
Laser, Punch, Cudgel, Stab. Alvin Stab is a good name, I think.
Rebecca Stab,
that would work. Johnny Punch.
Johnny Punch.
Troy Laser is the classic.
Yeah.
Troy Laser. So anybody ever has a child, and I always start to say, well, what are you going to call the baby? And they're like, oh, I haven't thought about it yet. I'm going, it's Troy Laser. Calling it Troy Laser. And they're like, I'm not calling it Troy Laser. And I say, if it's a girl, definitely call it Troy Laser. They are very hard sounding names.
Yeah.
And does the name come first, and then they try to figure out what the initials stand for, or?
I don't know about way piece came about. I'm not really sure how it did, but I know with beer anyway. I think Scott was the supervisor / leader. He wanted. I think he just said the word beer, and we're like, let's try to figure out what beer will stand for because we want to use the word beer. Really mature and all.
And was and this is something that kind of occurred to me at the time, and I kind of want to ask: was calling it beer and making that kind of an acronym, was that kind of a slight swipe at Bile?
Oh, no, probably not, because Scott came up with Bile anyway, the word Bile, so, yeah. I don't know. Probably not, though. I think
Secretly in her heart, it was a swipe.
Yeah, I don't think there's any, revenge or anything like that to do, associated with it, but you never know, I guess.
There you go. So, well, it's coming up on about 50 minutes. I think with the audio problems and stuff, we should probably wrap things up. If people wanting to find out more about where, what to hear from you, obviously there's bits that we haven't covered at all here, which is really frustrating. So I'll very quickly say, Norah runs, how do you pronounce the label? Is it Xylem?
Yep.
Xylem Records, which is a net label, which has got an increasing roster of excellent work, including stuff by myself, of course, and Shaun.
Yep.
Someday.
Yeah. You've got an artist page on the website, though, Shaun. So.
You do. Yep.
Oh, the pressure's on now, then.
Yeah, you've got to do it. So,
right, sure.
So if people want to find out about Xylem, because we haven't really covered it much in the podcast,
sure.
Where would they go to find out about that? It's a free net label, and where would they download things?
Okay, well, Xylem is based at xylem.co.uk. You can find information about releases there, and there's a release page, and so you can just click there, and it goes directly to the Bandcamp page, and all the releases are free or donation, but it's been free, so don't worry about paying. It's okay. And most of them are Creative Commons, and there's a large variety of stuff, and we release things probably once or twice every 2 weeks or so. I think actually we had a period where it was like every few days. It was kind of crazy. So there's a release tomorrow, and there should be one in the coming week as well. So there's always stuff happening. But yeah, you can just download things for free if you want and have a listen. So, and hopefully there'll be a gig. I'm not sure when. I have to look into venues, and I probably should do that sooner rather than later. But hopefully a gig in this year for all the UK-based Xylem artists. So
it might be a little bit easier because the licensing laws changed in October last year.
Oh, okay, really?
And yeah, I don't know if you know about this, and I'm sure you probably do, Shaun. But yeah, you don't need a live music license anymore for events with, I think, a capacity of less than 150 or 200.
200, I think it is. Yeah,
200. So yeah, I mean, it's a major deal. It means that basically you can put things on in church halls, empty shops, houses.
Nice.
And you're not going to get the police turning up and go, "You've not got a music license. You can't do this."
Okay, good.
So, and I think for unamplified music, so like choral things or folk things, I don't think there's an upper limit on the audience size.
Okay.
Non-amplified music.
So unamplified music, you can have 10,000 people turn up, and you don't need a license for it. Which is really
cool.
Good. Yeah, so
that's really good. Yeah,
that might make it a little bit easier. You can start looking at venues that are non-traditional.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I'll start. That'll hopefully be by the end of this year. So things to look forward to. We do have actually a lot of overseas people. I guess you can call them. There's an artist from Russia, and there's quite a few from the US as well. So it'll be kind of interesting. We can get something like a networked thing happening. So. As well, so they can play as well. So we'll see what happens.
Fantastic. And for people who want to find your own stuff, where would they go, Norah?
Okay, well, you can just go to my website, which is my name, norahlorway.com, and then it'll lead you towards various links. If you Google me, probably music will pop up here and there, and some strange academic papers, but otherwise, just my name in Google, and you'll find things.
Excellent. And that's Norah, Norah, and Lorway, Lorway. Is that right?
Yep, .com. Yeah.
Cool. Shaun, likewise, where would people go to find out about your work?
ShaunBlezard.net, which is ShaunBlezard. Blezard. Or, again, you can just Google me. And I'm on Facebook and Twitter. So if you just put Shaun Blezard in, you should find me. So come say hello. There's lots of stuff out there.
There's tons of things. You're a very prolific individual.
That's you saying that, Alex.
Yeah, well, that is me saying that. I know I'm Johnny Prolific. It's kind of... Yeah, last year was meant to be my year
Troy
of doing...
Laser, yeah, that's you.
Yeah, Troy Laser, yeah, with the laser shooting out stuff. Yeah. Yeah, last year, would you believe that last year was meant to be my year of taking it easy and not doing any music?
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. 2012, the year I put out something like 40 albums.
Yeah. Oh.
I made hundreds of tracks. It's ridiculous. And so this year's the year of taking it easy. So I'm currently on my third full length for this year, and with a couple of other things going.
Taking it easy.
Yeah, but that is
To
me
be fair,
taking
that
it easy.
is. By this point last year, he had basically done more work than most people do in a lifetime.
That's true. Yeah.
Not necessarily any of it ain't good, but he did do it.
I was about to say that I'm just going for quantity now.
Yeah, you have been for a while.
Yeah. If you throw enough shit at a wall, some of it will
stick.
eventually stick.
Or stink.
Yeah, amazingly, I seem to be just throwing really sloppy shit at the wall at the moment. So it all just runs off. Maybe the wall is kind of coated with something.
It finds the wall.
Anti-electronic music.
Yeah.
Coated.
Nothing I make is able to stick. But we'll see.
Well, people like to download your albums from Xylem, so I guess that's probably not true. But
Well, you see, the thing is, I only ever... Because I kind of mirror a lot of the releases up on my Bandcamp, but I always put on the release thing where to actually go to download it from the net label. So I think probably what happens is people come along to it, see that, and then go to the net label to download it. So I look at this kind of flatlined download thing, saying that nobody's interested, and I'm like, oh god, nobody likes my music. But then I'm partly responsible for that by telling people to actually go and download it from the net labels. So, which I think is the right thing to do. But it's, occasionally does break my heart.
Oh, bless you.
And my
well,
art.
don't worry, you get a lot of downloads.
Yay! 4 downloads. Yay! Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to both of you. Sorry, it's been a little bit kind of like, but that's how the podcast is. If you don't like it,
It was good fun.
well, that's how it
No
is. It happens every time. And what will happen is, as soon as I finish recording, I will remember about 50 questions that I wanted to ask. Which is exactly what... I don't know if either of you listened to the Lucky Dragons one, which was the last one. I've been wanting to do the Lucky Dragons one for years, and didn't ask any of the questions I had in my mind. And we ended up talking about whether Los Angeles was like a big brain. And but yeah, that's what happens. It kind of goes off. I mean, my intention for this show had been to talk about the importance of net labels and giving away music, but that didn't happen. But that's what it's about. That's why the listener loves it.
The listener,
The solitary listener. That is why the solitary listener is so supportive of the show.
Bless them.
Because you never know what's going to... Bless him. You never know what's going to happen.
Or her.
Well, bless her or him. Whoever that person is who's listening. I tell a lie. Sometimes a lot of people listen to it. Sometimes a handful listen to it.
Who knows, maybe your listener will get in touch and clarify his or her gender.
Yes, listener.
Listener, if you're there.
Listening, yeah. You could go to alonetone.com and find the page there that has the podcast on it, because that's what I'm using to kind of punt it to iTunes. So, yeah, come along, leave a message, or email me at alexbotton at gmail.com and tell me whether you're male or female listener. That sounds really perverted, though, doesn't it, now?
Age, sex, location?
Oh, no. That sounds awful. Oh. It's not okay.
Well, actually, probably not. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
No, it sounds really bad now. It makes me sound like I'm saying, tell me what gender you are.
Dear listener, age, sex, location?
Yeah, send a photo if you're a lady.
What are you wearing?
Yes.
Big granny pants.
And where are you right now? And do you have a webcam?
I really like your hair.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it that way, listener. I I don't want you to think. I don't want you to think that I'm some kind of pervert. I don't know why I said that in a kind of Cornish accent. Do you think the word pervert has to be said in a Cornish accent? Pervert.
No.
I'm a pervert.
Boy.
I'm a pervert.
You're a pervert, Harry.
I'm not a pervert. Shush.
You're a pervert, Harry.
Harry.
Oh, God.
Harry Potter, you're a wizard, Harry?
Oh yeah, Hagrid talks about
Hagrid.
that. Hagrid. I've never watched it. I'm not a child. So, I'm a grown adult cat. I'm unfamiliar with Harry Potter. Hagrid. I know there's an elf. A Delph. There's a Delph called. Isn't it named after the character
Dobby.
from Peep Show or something?
Dobby, yeah.
Dobby. Yeah. There's an elf called Dobby, and she's in Peep Show, and Cracker's in it. I think he plays a man with a beard. There's a giant, and I think Gandalf's in it, isn't he? Gandalf, foreseen Gandalf in Harry Potter.
Use the Force, Harry.
Yeah, use the Force, Harry, says Captain Picard. So, yeah, that's how it goes. So anyway, yes, I
have to live with this.
She does. She does, yeah. Well, I hope to see the two of you in real life at some point in the near future.
Also not pervy.
Oh, no! God! Oh, it's gone horribly.
We'll just have to stick with the webcam for now, Alex.
Yeah, or not.
We're saying that, but the other podcast I do, which is fundamentally flawed, which is me and Kat and a bunch of other people usually arguing with the religious, that's recently gone video. So
I had a anonymous face on.
Yeah. We found that with Google Hangouts, you can, if you don't want your face to be seen, you can add a little kind of graphic that follows where your head is on the screen. So Kat had this smiley face all the way through the podcast.
I was trying to look interested.
It's very good because you could have a little doze.
I did. I properly started falling asleep. I was like sitting there playing Tetris and sleeping.
Yeah. So don't worry, we're not going to go video on this. I think people would be. Oh, it would be weird. I think.
Well, you'd have to put some clothes on.
Well, I'm not entirely naked.
Socks count.
Much information.
At this moment in the podcast, there was a little bit of information came out that is probably nobody's fucking business. So, what you can hear in the background is all reversed and messed with, so you can't hear it. And then I've left in all the other stuff afterwards just to mess with you. So, yeah, the normal podcast resumes in a second. Here we go. And we're back.
Why?
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, there you go. On that bombshell. On that revelation, that's the kind of information you can only get on this podcast.
Will that be on the podcast?
He doesn't edit.
I can't.
This shit's on there.
I'm now kind of torn because I could take it out, but I have to kind of leave it in.
Artistic integrity.
That would be not good to leave it in, but okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, then, what we will do is I will make that little bit run a little bit backwards, and then nobody will know what we're talking about.
Okay, awesome.
And we'll have this section that people will be like, "What was all that about?" Which is what's actually happening right now. The people who are listening to this are going, "What was that about?" And the answer is, "We're not telling you. It's just for us on the podcast tonight."
I don't know.
It's a podcast podpal secret.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, then. Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure, and I will put this up so people can hear it. And the podcast will be back at some point in the next few weeks. And I don't know who the guests will be then. I know that Goody Pal's in Birmingham next week, so might talk to Goody Pal. So that might be a video podcast because he might actually meet us face to face with his moustache and his monocle.
Why did you do 2 for monocle?
I don't know. Shut up. Yeah, I did 2 for monocle. Maybe he has a monocle in each eye. That double monocle.
He's a bicycle.
Yeah. Well, shit. I can't think of what.
And on that bombshell.
All that's left to do is thank my guests, Norah Lorway and Shaun Blezard, and Kat for putting up with me. And it's been a pleasure, everybody. And I'm going to ask everybody to do the traditional goodbye, where we all say goodbye together. So, goodbye!
Goodbye!
Goodbye!